So the first thing, I think all of y'all got an agenda, is travel procedures. All right, so you know the first thing you have to do is fill out a professional leave, and it's in this folder. So fill out a professional leave form, and 2 weeks in advance if we can. I know sometimes things pop up on us, but make sure we try and get that done. And then Ms. Ogden has fixed y'all like a travel packet and just some reminders of how everything needs to be handled, because a lot of y'all's travel and stuff is paid with federal money and we have to document it. So that's why it has to go through this procedure. So she put on here travel packet, and it says itemized receipts, not just a generic receipt. Y'all know the difference between the two. Hotel receipt, we always need to turn in hotel exemption and just a state exemption for taxes.
So there are two forms?
There's 2 forms.
See, I don't.
They're in there. They should be, I think she put a copy of each one.
And a lot of times they won't take one of them, but you.
Maybe that's something.
But if they won't take it, then you get them to write you a letter, and they will. You tell them why and sign it on hotel letterhead, and then you just turn that back in.
Okay.
You always need to have an agenda with the name of the conference, workshop, the dates, if they provide meals. A lot of conferences provide meals, so you won't get reimbursed. Like if they provide lunch, you won't get reimbursed lunch for that. That sort of thing. This is a professional development travel request form, and they want 2 weeks notice. What you do is you fill that out, give it to Ms. Ogden, she gives it to me, I sign it, and we send it to the board. And so they just have a record of it, what we're doing, and then that, it kind of links back to all the receipts and reimbursements and all that when you turn that back in. Yes,
You said, who needs to write a letter of explanation?
the hotel.
Hotel.
Yes,
Okay.
the clerk. If you just tell, and just if you just ask them, because there's certain ones like the King and Prince and St. Simon's, they won't do one of the hotel exemptions. I think it's the tax, the state tax, unless you play with a school check or a school credit card. You know, several of them are like that.
Right.
But you just get them, write a letter, explaining why, and go from there. All right. So next is the professional development travel request form. Make sure we fill that out in advance, not when we get back, just in advance. And turn that in to Ms. Ogden. Ms. Ogden has these, the exempt forms. For one of them is State of Georgia Department of Revenue Sales Tax Certificate of Exemption. And this one, the first one, you just give to them and they fill out themselves. Dr. Hinton's already signed at the bottom, our information's already on there. So you just give that to them. Ms. Parker also has these documents outside her office, and they're also on the school, on the county-wide website. All right, the second one is the Georgia Hotel and Motel Operators Exempt. You fill that out. So like you'd sign it, you put the date, your name, your title, the agency representative will be Washington County Board of Education. Accounting, fiscal, office contact, you can just put Ms. Ogden for that, that's fine. And put the school phone number, and then your dates of lodging, and you give that to them. And if they get audited, then they just turn that over when they're audited, and that matches up without them paying the tax. That's what that's for. Next is your travel, your expense report. You should all have a digital copy of this online, but this is it. It has to be signed by you, and then it has to be signed by me before we send it in. And then what you would do is just attach this with any of your receipts, itemized receipts, your lodging, and your agenda. All that, turn that into me. On there's high cost areas. So if you're staying in like, I know the Savannah area or the Atlanta area, those are high cost areas. So there's a different little form on Excel. If it's just a general, like if you're going to Macon, that's just a general area. It's not high cost. So you click on the general, and the tabs are at the bottom on the Excel document. And then, like I said, and try to turn this in within 2 weeks, like a 2-week turnaround. You'll know they do checks every Thursday. So if you turn it in on a Friday, you probably won't get it until the following Thursday, okay? And they do checks Thursday morning. And then she's also put you a sample in here of all that stuff filled out. So does anyone have any questions over the travel?
I do.
Okay.
When I went to state convention last year, the hotel, they exempted us, I think, on the state level, but not local level.
okay? Then anytime they want waive taxes, you get them to write you a letter
Okay.
explaining why. They'll type it out. By the time you leave, say, I'm checking out on whatever day, December 12th. And could you have me a letter typed up by then explaining that you will not accept, you will not waive your taxes. Now, there's always gonna be a $5 fee. That's a Georgia tourism tax that nobody can get out of. So that's gonna be assessed, but it's $5 anywhere. It's
Okay.
$5 if you stay at the Ritz-Carlton in Atlanta, or if you stay at the Motel 6 in Richmond Hill. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it doesn't matter, it's always gonna be $5. So, just know that, okay?
Cool.
They won't waive it, and they don't have to write a letter for it. Kayla and them are very familiar with it, and know that they won't waive it. So any other questions over travel? Okay, all right, our end of pathway assessment completers. Send me a list of those, if you don't mind, because some of you, I'm gonna order study guides for. I can go ahead and get yours, and you can go ahead and start using them, whatever you want.
Do I need to send you that same number that we're gonna use this year?
Name, the name of the student, and then, the number and the grade, because some of them are 11, some of them are 12. So just send me that, okay? But yes, your test number, send me that test number so I'll make sure I get the right one. All right, last year, you remember we kind of implemented folders. I didn't really check them, but we did for all your pathway completion. Remember us talking about that? And there was certain stuff that needed to be in there, like attendance, discipline, graded work. Yeah, so we want to do that again this year. And I'll get you somewhere where I have the stuff that needs to be in the folder, and then a folder kept on each one. That way, because our pass rate kind of fluctuates, so when Dr. Hinton or Dr. Gray asked me, hey, what have you done? What are y'all doing? What programs do you have in place? Like Coach Smith has elective, so we can pull elective modules and show where we've done this and they reattended it and all that stuff. That sort of thing. Or if the kids missed 90 days of school, then hey, it's hard to teach them when they aren't here. You know, that sort of thing. Just steps we're taking to trying to help them pass. I guess that's what. Or if it's affected by discipline, that sort of thing.
We
So,
can pull up their absentees
You can.
on Empty Campus, okay?
yes, you can. Do y'all remember what all was supposed to be in that notebook? Does anybody? We'll have to look back and
I don't know
see.
that I don't.
We made a list, yeah.
She's probably got it down there in her room.
All right, and you just keep it, I mean, it doesn't have to be a big thick one, it can be the paper ones. If you need us to order some for you, let me know, and we will. And we'll just kind of keep that like a running check of that. So if I come in.
It's just on level 3s?
Yes, it's just your pathway completers, just whoever, so it's not, I think Coach Smith probably got the most in here, about 18 or 20. So, all right, any questions over that? I'll get you that information. Any questions over that? All right, field trips, all right? Supervision. So if we're taking 64 kids to the fair, how many chaperones do we need?
One for every 12.
Huh?
One for every 12.
One for every 12, right? So,
Half bigger
How
than
many
me.
to buy?
all right, so y'all see what I'm saying? Make sure we have adequate supervision, so it's one for every 12, wherever we're going, whether it's the fair or wherever. And be smart about that, like, and y'all all are, and it's crazy to have to say this, but like, we aren't gonna, if we go to Atlanta and we're at CNN Center, we aren't gonna turn 50 kids loose and just, hey, meet me back in 4 hours, right? All right, we all know not to do that in Atlanta. Kind of pair them up with the chaperone, and then they kind of take care of them. I'm not saying you have to hold their hand, but let's just don't turn them loose like mass. Like when y'all go to the fair, whoever's going to the fair, like have a check-in time.
We do often, very
yeah.
often, and they know if they don't check in, they don't go anywhere else with us.
That's right. So.
And it's very often, yeah.
and
Ooh, I
keep
hadn't made that rule. That's a good rule.
Yeah.
Good.
So.
They'll do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they show up, you check them off, and go right back, and
That's what I like about having a phone with them.
Phones, okay? Phones. Anytime we're going on a field trip, if you want the kid to bring their phone, that's fine. Just remember, designate a metal detector. Because it's usually best to do the bus ramp because all the kids ride the bus, and most of the time, whoever's working on the ramp is real good about not letting them walk to the parking lot or walking around to another metal detector. Designate a metal detector, or if there's two of you, in your case, one of you could be at each one with a box and a list and sign in each kid's phone. Now, I know it sounds crazy to have a list and say, Timothy May, iPhone 4, because believe it or not, sometimes we'll have a kid that will take a phone that really isn't theirs, okay? Lieutenant Colonel Terry, iPhone 10, and I want to upgrade, so I'm just going to take yours. Y'all see what I'm saying? So kind of list that so you know what's going in and what's going out, and then when you give it back to them, sign it back out to them, if that makes sense.
But what, I mean, in my case, I have students coming in from bus and car ride, car
Yeah,
drop
so,
off.
but they can always come around and come in through the bus ramp, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so you can tell, like, even if they get dropped off right there, if you've designated for them to come to the bus ramp to come through, because that's where you're gonna be at,
Okay.
then that's where they need to come.
Yeah, and also, I feel so bad, I'm bad at things, that's why I joined the military, we have ACAC, but, one of the coaches that, has permanent duty at the door.
Coach English.
Coach English, yes, he's, every time I've been there collecting, he's like, I'll do that for you.
Yeah, and he probably will.
Yeah, he's
but I
really
don't
good
wanna
at
sign him
that.
up for it and him, I just have to do it. You know what I'm
So
saying?
last year I
Because he
did
might
that,
like you.
I was getting
Yeah.
some heat last year.
He might like you, but he might not like Miss
Yeah.
Tyson.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
like,
mean?
you ain't doing that for her.
So let's just have something in place for that, okay? Dress code. Make sure that our students are in dress code. One year we had an issue going to the fair, kids changing the jeans on the bus, and then we had another group that was there and they were all in uniform, and it caused, why they didn't wear jeans, and then it was just a mess.
It was, but I-
It didn't end well for the ones that let them change. So if there's like a day trip, now I understand sometimes we're going overnight trips and things like that, then we dress appropriately, like if it's an FFA deal or an ROTC deal, where they had to be in a certain type of uniform, then they wouldn't be in our regular school uniform. But just use your good judgment there and make sure they are, all right? Any question over field trips? Also, if you haven't, most of y'all have already turned in where you're going for the most part, as far as field trips go. And I'll talk about competitions and stuff later. But if you have not, kind of give us a heads up, especially for subs and that sort of thing, maybe even like a month, at least a month, maybe a month, 2 months out if you can. Because it makes it easier for Ms. Ogden scheduling you a sub when she knows in 2 months that you're going to be going here. We might have 4 or 5 other things going on, but we want our stuff to be priority, so go ahead and get it in, okay? And we aren't rushing.
That reminds me, I need to talk to you about signing day.
Okay, sounds good. Anything else for field trips? All right, advisory committee. Have we set a fall date for each one of you's advisory committee?
Let me backtrack 1 second. I
Yes.
know, just remember to make sure you send the list out of
Yes.
who's going on the trip. Like I think Coach E sent his out,
He did.
yesterday,
Yes,
today?
yeah,
the
for
fair.
next week.
Yeah,
And that's always good. It's always good to do it at least a week ahead of time.
yeah, I mean, sometimes I won't.
I'm awful about it with baseball. I'll send it out the morning of.
But we got 110 going, so.
That's
And then also, while we're on here, t-shirts, like if you're wearing a certain t-shirt for a club or whatever on like a Tuesday, if it's not Friday, send out an email that they'll be wearing it, that sort of thing. I think Friday's become official t-shirt day, so we don't even send them out anymore.
Yeah.
Just make sure they tuck them in if you can. But, all right, so advisory committee, fall date. Do you want to do a big one together, or do you want to do your individual ones? Doesn't matter to me.
We've already did ours.
Okay, good. All right. Sure y'all good with doing individual ones?
Well,
I think it's always better when it's everybody because it
It
looks
helps
like
them
it
see
inflates
that we've
the,
got a-
yeah, and it inflates the numbers a little
and then the
bit.
spring one just be the.
Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all get together and y'all decide a date. Do like 2 dates. And then run them by me and we'll see which one works best, okay? Does that sound good? And let's go ahead and get it done before the end of
I was
October.
fixing to say, let's decide before we leave here today. Okay.
Yeah, and then we got a couple others that aren't here that are gonna have to watch this.
Yeah.
And from now, we're gonna try to meet monthly, because I don't wanna meet just for the sake of meeting. We're gonna try to meet monthly. If you can't make it, it'll be videoed, uploaded, sent you the link, you watch it, and then sign off and give us item a form saying, the same form we do for Coach Graves.
Is there a specific day monthly, like third week or something, or just
We'll think
TBA?
about it.
Okay.
Maybe like the first Tuesday, second Tuesday every month or something. Spring date, we'll get that later, but go ahead and get a fall date and let's do it sometime before the end of October, okay? All right. All right, CTSOs, it just says promote your field. Just, we're gonna talk about that in a minute with this improvement plan and, things that we need to do because it's part of our findings from our Perkins review that we're supposed to do. And I have to check off on that each year if it's in progress, complete, whatever. So some of the stuff we really need to get on because we're going into year 3. Paperwork, get your paperwork completed for your competitions. Some of you have like regional field days and things like that. Some of you have clubs like FCCLA. I'm sure you have a list and you have to probably send that into the state and all that. Make sure we get that stuff done in a timely manner. If you need any help with it, give Ms. Ogden, she'll be glad to help you. FBLA, y'all do a great job about getting it in. All of you do, but just make sure we stay on that. Don't let a date slip by us, okay? Dr. Henn's real big on us participating in these regional, at least the regional competitions, like Skills USA, our ag, what are they called? CDEs, FCCLA stuff. I don't think last year we didn't participate, but maybe this year we're maybe a little more ready for some regional competitions.
Maybe to attend and watch or something.
But Skills has some, Skills USA, it kind of bleeds over in that. They have some stuff, and I know in the past, we've sent people from there, and they've done really well, I think. I think they've placed like top 3 before. So that's something to get with Mr. Earl about, and make sure those ladies get signed up for Skills USA so they can compete in those. Skills has a lot of stuff that they can compete in. Anything on CTSOs? All right, our Perkins review plan, and this will be painless, y'all. I'm gonna kind of go through it pretty
You need
quick.
me for Perkins?
Yes, for parts of it. And I mean, we'll probably talk
That's fine.
5 to 10 minutes, because I'm just gonna kind of read. All right, so, the recommendation that the system consistently use the DOE CTAE inventory management forms and include all required items to be included on the inventory form. So like any equipment that you're purchased through federal money, it needs to be on that form, the state form. Are y'all familiar with that form? The inventory, it asks for serial number, year purchased, all that stuff.
The one Miss, is it the one Miss Moist in now?
No,
We've got
it's
two
not that
different
one.
ones, don't
It's a
we?
different one. And we need to be
I
using the
understand.
state form. So what I'll do is I'll get that and I'll send it out to y'all to make sure all our stuff is inventoried on there. Like tools. Like now I'm not talking about like printer cartridges, and we aren't inventorying that. But like if you get a $500 camera, that needs to be on there, and the year it was purchased, and that sort of thing. I'll send that out.
Any new things or things that are already there?
Things are already there within the past 5 years.
Okay. that
Okay.
would be
I
it.
thought we
Within-
did that before, didn't we?
We have, but we have to update it every year.
Okay, yeah, because
Yes.
I knew I had seen that.
We have to update it every year. All right, so the next one is, doesn't apply on, that's me. Position charts, that's me. All right, the system implemented an active CTAE advisory committee, which meets at least 2 times per year for the purpose of creating a partnership between the CTA programs. All right, so you need to have minutes, rosters, and agendas for the meeting, and you should keep them on file for 5 years, until we have our next review. Okay?
Meeting.
All right, the system develops strategies for improving the number of pathway completers, test takers, and the number of students passing the EOPAs. All right, so The strategy is to increase CTA enrollment by promoting programs. All right, so